Hey guys, welcome back to Gridiron's Guide with JD. I know it's been a while since I made a video. It's been like a month. Just going through a new job and everything, getting used to that and whatnot. But a lot's happened over the past month with the rounds. From last time I was here, we got blew out by the 49ers. Then I think, had a bye week. Then no, yeah, we I think we had a bye week, or no, we lost Seattle first. Then had a bye week. Then came back, lost New England, then we lost somehow to Denver, and we recently won 2 games straight against the Bills and the Steelers, which is great. It was a rivalry game, but that was overshadowed by, of course, Myles Garrett within the last 15 seconds of the game. But before I get into that, I wanted to get into basically how the Brown season have been going so far and where I think it's going to be going from here on out, or at least in the near future for the next 2-3 weeks. From the very beginning of this season, everybody, including myself, would thought that the defense would have been a problem. It's not. It's the offense. The offense, even to the game last night in Pittsburgh, was a weak point in the game. The offense is kind of the problem. It's kind of holding us back in a way. Not necessarily the running game. It's more so the passing game. Odell Beckham Jr. and Baker Mayfield don't seem to be on the same page. On the plus side, Kareem Hunt's coming in nicely as a receiving back. He's basically our Duke Johnson #2, basically. Maybe a more explosive Duke Johnson. I don't want to disrespect Duke Johnson, but maybe like a more explosive version of Duke Johnson, maybe. I would say that much. Jarvis Landry and Baker Mayfield. I don't care what nobody says. Jarvis Landry is the #1 receiver on the team. It's not Odell Beckham. It's Jarvis Landry. He's #1 on that team. Now, Odell Beckham, yeah, he has more ability, but chemistry-wise, next to Rashard Higgins and Baker Mayfield, it's Jarvis Landry and Baker Mayfield. He's a star of that team, to be honest with you. Nick Chubb is the heart of that team because nobody can stop him, or at least the Steelers did a good job for the most part, but he got 27 carries and 92 yards. That's bound to, eventually happen. He should get at least over 85 at that point with 27 carries. That's ridiculous. But I'm also glad that they gave him the ball that much, because that shows me that for me, if Nick Chubb gets at least 20 to 25 carries a game, at this point, at least 20, that's a good game for me. Baker Mayfield, he should have his throws under 35 attempts. I should never see Baker Mayfield throwing more than 35 times, because this is not a passing team. But Freddie Kitchens' trick plays and those end arounds and the quick screens, the pitch plays, the pick plays he likes to do. And I'm starting, since we got Kareem Hunt, I'm starting to get more used to it. I'm starting to appreciate it more, because the first half of the season, it looked like he was trying too hard. And yeah, every now and then he does get a little too cute with some of the play calling. Sometimes it's just okay just to do a simple pass play, or instead of doing these end arounds and draws, just run it right at him. You got a bulldozer and Nick Chubb, just do it. I think his play calling still needs work, because the chemistry in the team is still off, particularly between Baker Mayfield and OBJ. This is going to be by far OBJ's worst season. Then again, you have a first-year head coach who's never coached, I think ever. He was a running backs coach, but he was never, he was never an offensive coordinator, a head coach, or even defensive coordinator, special teams coach for that matter. So he never coached before. He has no coaching experience, so it's going to take a little more time. However, they've won 2 games straight. They're 4-6. They play the Dolphins next, so I do like our chances against them. I wouldn't sleep on Miami, because they did win 2 games straight. They kept games close. The players are not good talent-wise, but they are good in their roles. And Brian Flores has them playing to win, and he has them believing in whatever his vision is for the Dolphins. So they have team chemistry, and they have a goal what they want to achieve. Ours is to achieve the postseason for the first time in how long? I don't even want to think about that at this point. But it's going to be kind of hard to do that now, because we're missing a certain someone on the defense. What's his name again? Oh, yeah, Myles Garrett. Yeah, let's just get right into it now. Yeah. Myles Garrett, man. Myles Garrett. Okay, so part of me is like, why would you do that? Because it made absolutely no sense. It was totally uncalled for. However, that was when I just saw it happening off of the replay that I saw when I just saw him jacking Mason Rudolph by his helmet. When they showed the entire video, I got a whole new perspective on it. I'm like, oh, so yeah, Grant Miles Garrett was wrong for how he reacted. Taking a man's helmet off and slinging the helmet at him, using him as a weapon, that was totally uncalled for. It could have been much worse had Mason Rudolph crumbled or just passed out or started bleeding profusely, like it was like late 90s WWE Attitude Era. That could have been traumatic for all sides and possibly maybe even the end of Myles Garrett. I don't know. But, you know, the one thing that irks me about all this is that Mason Rudolph never got punished. I know they say, oh, he'll be getting a fine. He needs a suspension and a fine as far as I'm concerned. Because, one, look, I understand Mason Rudolph was probably frustrated because he was playing like crap, 4 interceptions. It was like 17 out of I think 22 out of 41 completion percentage. Yeah, Juju got hurt. Yeah, James Conner got hurt. Had they been in the game, it wouldn't really matter because we shut James Conner down, I think, off of 10 carries. And Juju, he would have had his probably 4 or 5, maybe 6 catches for like 70, 80 yards and maybe a TD. But it wouldn't have mattered much because Mason Rudolph was overthrowing receivers left and right. Heck, Joel Schobert got 2 picks last night, which Cleveland, y'all need to pay that man, by the way. He needs this is his contract year. He was a Pro Bowl last year. You need to pay him. Seriously. You need to pay him his money. Well, I don't know if it's like it was last year, but either way, he's came leaps and bounds and he needs to be paid. Hopefully by us, not another team. But anyway, man, like Mason Rudolph, I don't know if he was just angry because he was just doing bad that night. Maybe because the rivalry game between the Steelers and the Browns. Maybe they thought about to get an easy win off us because our offense couldn't get out of our own way and because we were one of the most penalized teams in the league. I don't know what it was, but Mason Rudolph just played like crap. He looked like crap, and at the end of the day, he came out like crap. But where in your right mind do you think you can try to take off a helmet of another player, which is wrong in itself? But you didn't do this to, I don't know, a defensive back, a cornerback, even a linebacker. You went after a defensive end who's like 6'6", 275. You're like, what? I don't know, 6'2", 6'3", maybe 230, 235. He's a pretty solid big dude. He might be like 6'4", 6'5", but it doesn't matter. You went after another player on another team, trying to take off their helmet first. So, one, you instigated it, which was wrong on your part. 2, you also hit him beneath the groin area. You hit him basically in his nuts, basically. That's strike number 2. So, with you attempting to, 1, instigate it by taking off Myles Garrett's helmet first, I know people might say, oh, Bo, no, Myles Garrett dragged him down to the floor. Well, Myles Garrett got there really fast, and he got the ball off. He thought the player was still going, and Myles didn't, land on top of him. He dragged him down. It wasn't like he body slammed Mason Rudolph. That would have been a 15-yard penalty and a first down. But I don't know if it's because he was mad about that. Maybe he's mad he kept getting hit all night long. Maybe he's mad because he threw 4 picks, or it could be a combination of all 3 reasons. But the thing is that Myles Garrett, he didn't deserve to get his helmet yanked off at first by Mason Rudolph, nor he deserved those low blow shots that Mason Rudolph gave to him. So as far as I'm concerned, is Myles Garrett excused for the way he acted? Absolutely not. That was totally uncalled for. He deserves to be suspended. I wouldn't say indefinitely. I would say for the rest of the year indefinitely. I think that's too far for indefinitely. I don't know about that. Rest of the year, definitely. And indefinitely, I don't see that. But Mason Rudolph, they say they're going to fine him. I personally think he usually has to suspend 1 game and a fine. But that's probably just, I don't know, just me because it's a rivalry game and he's a Steeler. That's probably why I'm saying that. But if they do fine him, they need to fine him too because he instigated it. In a way, it was Mason Rudolph's fault. He started the whole thing. Like I said, Garrett was totally wrong in how he reacted. He overreacted, and he shouldn't have took it that far. He really could have seriously hurt Mason Rudolph, and I'm glad Mason Rudolph is safe from that standpoint of view. But Mason Rudolph started the whole thing. You open Pandora's box, and you got more than what you wanted. Let's be honest. Mason Rudolph probably would have got destroyed had it been a one-on-one. Mason Rudolph, he poked the bear and he got slashed for it. Sorry, but Mason Rudolph started the whole thing. So in all, it's his fault. And then what made it worse was after in the press conference, when they interviewed the players, Baker Mayfield handled it like a leader. He said, that's inexcusable. He knows better than that. He should know better than that. That was wrong because that affects the whole team, not just you. Football is a team sport. This isn't, to an extent, basketball. This isn't track. It affects the whole entire team. You got to think about that. I know that, yeah, he didn't instigate it. He shouldn't have sat there and just took whatever Mason was going to try to give him. But, after he got separated by the offensive lineman from the quarterback, they should let it go. But that also brings to Mason Rudolph's fault because he went back to Myles Garrett to continue it. So not only did you start the issue, you instigated and kept it going by coming back to Myles Garrett after he was already separated from the offensive lineman. So that brings more of the fault to Mason Rudolph's side. But, anyway, like I said, Baker said all the right answers. He said how he wanted to say it, and he said the right answers. Myles Garrett, I was kind of iffy on his response. Yeah, he was right when he said that's out of character. That's not like me. I lost my cool. I'm glad he owned up to it. But then they said, oh, man, you think he'll be suspended? He said, I don't know. I felt like he should just say, hey, look, I know I probably affected my team. I probably let them down. But at the same time, just look at the tape. I'm not trying to point blame, but he started. He went for my helmet first. He tried to hit me beneath my belt. If he would explain why he overreacted, I think that would have done at least a substantial amount of help in his case. He still would have got suspended for the rest of the season, definitely, but maybe not indefinitely. I know he's going to appeal that. I honestly don't think he'll win. I hope he does, but if he doesn't win, I won't be surprised. And then, overall his response, I felt like, he could have said more, but at least he knew what he did was wrong. It was out of character for Myles Garrett. Like a fan punched him earlier, I think back in September, early October, out of a car, and he, called the police. So obviously the guy has control. He just happened to snap that day. It happens. We're all human. He shouldn't have took it that far, but we're all human. Things happen. Now, last but not least, Mason Rudolph. This is where I lost a lot of respect for Mason Rudolph. Didn't really care for him that much anyway because he's a Steeler, so didn't really care much for that anyway. But this is where the only thing I'm glad for Mason Rudolph, I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad he didn't get seriously hurt. I'm glad he didn't get gashed open by the helmet shot. I'm glad he didn't go unconscious and pass out on the turf. But his answer really upset me because when he said at the end of the game, they had a press conference, he said, that was Bush League. That was, very cowardly of Myles Garrett to do that. I'm okay, though. It's whatever. But he shouldn't have done that. Unlike Myles Garrett and Baker Mayfield, you didn't own up to your side of the story. You didn't accept the responsibility and take blame for instigating the event, getting your ass kicked in the event because you started the fight and you couldn't finish it. Then you wanted to continue the event after your old lineman had him, occupied for you. So, for that reason, I lost respect for Mason Rudolph, one, you already played bad anyway that night, and you played like crap, so not only that, but I can see personality-wise, you must have personality crap too, because you didn't accept responsibility, and you're the quarterback. You're supposed to be the guy that leads by example, and you failed to do that night. You showed me that, one, you're a coward because you came back to Myles Garrett after he's already occupied the offensive lineman. 2, you were an instigator because you started the whole thing in the first place. 3, you don't accept responsibility or take, responsibility or accept your actions and what you did. So for that, I'm not a fan of Mason Rudolph. Or any Steelers for that matter, but other than that, I lost a lot of respect for Mason Rudolph, like that. You could put Big Ben back in the quarterback for all I care. Mason Rudolph, he ain't cool with me, man. But that's all I'm saying for that situation. It's in the past now. It already happened. We got the Dolphins next. We should win that game. I hope we do. I think we're going to win. I'll say 24-14, 24-10. Miami don't have a lot of talent, but they have a game plan. Hopefully our offense can go by their game plan. Hopefully the defense sticks to what they have to do, and they keep being dominant how they did against Pittsburgh. You know, we're going to get another questionable quarterback and Ryan Fitzpatrick. We should win this game and be 5-6, one game behind 500. And if Pittsburgh loses, we'll be second place in the AFC North, closer to taking over the division, which we probably won't because Baltimore is balling right now. When we get a wild card spot, we win out. I don't think it's going to happen, especially now that Myles Garrett is gone. But I think it still can happen, and we just basically have to play perfect. Either play perfect or be punished. That's all I can say about that. But, yeah. So, I'm going to go back to doing regular videos now, just like, well, weekly videos. You know, I was going like a freaking month. Sorry about that. But, yeah, I'll make sure I record for next week when the Browns play again. Play Miami. It's going to be in Cleveland. The third of 3 games in Cleveland. And after that, we go to Pittsburgh for a showdown from the beatdown we gave them in Cleveland. So, I'll be back next week, guys. See you guys later, and go Browns.